Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Through the work weekend, I'm still monitoring some daily likely chances of rain and storms. And with some up to above average moisture to tap into, there will be that risk of some localized flash flooding. Be mindful of generally 1 to 2 inches of rain total over the next 5 days, with that risk of locally higher amounts with any of these daily chances of thunderstorms. Most of us in the state are included in a marginal risk of excessive rain. That's for localized flash flooding that is possible today and tonight. Seasonably warm yesterday in terms of our temps. We had a low at 70, high of 88 in Charleston, average is 86. A slight chance of an isolated shower and storm this morning. A number of us, some low visibility with some patchy to widespread dense fog. And then partly sunny skies and a chance of showers and storms this afternoon, likely overnight. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Some areas of the southeast United States and the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida up to a heat wave underneath a strong ridge and well above average heat and humidity there. Tampa 97 approaching a record high tomorrow. Myrtle Beach near 92. Chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs in like the mid 80s up here with a chance of showers and storms this afternoon and tonight. For our eastern areas, the flood watch is gone, but be mindful of some up to localized flash flooding with any showers and storms for some of our western areas here. Highs, a lot of mid to upper 80s for a number of spots. Point Pleasant this time near 88, 87 in Parkersburg. Huntington have you near 90 today. Bluefield near 80, Lewisburg near 82, with that risk of showers and storms. We do have another front coming in from the northwest for the weekend, keeping our likely chances of rain alive. Chance Monday, maybe dry Tuesday, with a high near 87 degrees Tuesday next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Well, the ceasefire is over. We'll get an update on the warehouse fire in Parkersburg and how old is too old if you're going to serve in Congress. We'll talk about it all. It's MetroNews Talkline. We're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state, or if you're watching in on the MetroNews television app, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. We appreciate it. Gang's all here. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. Ethan Collins is at the controls for the audio side of things. Jake Link handles the video production. 800-765-TALK is the phone number, 800-765-8255. Text the show at 304-TALK-304. We always appreciate your input. Coming up in just a moment, we'll get the latest on that warehouse fire in Wood County that has been blazing since Sunday. It appears that at least all visible fire has been extinguished. We'll get the latest. Check in with Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. The ceasefire over, the U.S. striking targets in Iran. And a little bit later, friend of the show, Robert Bolton, stops by. How old is too old if you're going to serve in Congress? We'll get into that subject second hour. Say good morning to TJ Meadows down in Charleston. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I guess the question is, when it comes to Iran, do we, quote-unquote, finish the job this time? I mean, have we learned that they are not a trustworthy counterparty?
Well, the president would seem to have indicated that. He said you can't trust him.
Yeah, well,
It's
I
a
think
waste
we
of
all
time
knew
to
that.
negotiate.
I think we all knew that for some time. So I guess, do we finish the job now, David? I don't know.
Well, live and learn. Try again.
I guess.
We'll get the latest from Jonathan Savage, who's in Turkey for that NATO summit where President Trump is attending that summit over the last couple of days. But first, we start in Parkersburg, or just outside of Parkersburg. Significant progress in the fire at the People's Cartage warehouse in Wood County late yesterday. Incident Commander Ron Utt, chief at the Eastwood Volunteer Fire Department, said there were no visible signs of fire left on site. They were moving into the next phase of the firefighting efforts. For an update, let's bring back Wood County Commission President David Blair Couch, who joins us on the program. David, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you each.
Appreciate you coming on. So, David, what is the latest update on the firefighting efforts there at the warehouse?
Well, last night when I left, they had actively stopped putting water on it. So they had some long arm excavators. The term they used was yellow metal. And they were digging into the piles to try to find hot spots to extinguish. They probably had an overnight watch. I know they did. I think there was 2 crews that stayed to make sure it didn't rekindle. Now the cleanup happens. We put the damn thing out, and now People's Cartage, I'm sure, will be responsible for assisting us removing the debris.
Do you have any idea about what that will entail yet, David? I mean, what needs to happen? I'm assuming this needs to be taken away, disposed of safely, et cetera. What does that look like?
Well, 9 years ago, we fought a fire down the street. I mean, just literally down the street. And it took a year to clean out all the debris, and then West Virginia DEP had to certify what we were doing or what they were doing. We didn't actively engage in that other than to monitor. It's a tough day with social media. Anybody can throw a stone and say, well, why didn't you do this or that? And so trying to defeat every one of those or try to respond to each one of those, you have quality broadcast media like MetroNews or print media that really get to the bottom of it. But, I sent a link over. There's been 165 warehouse fires in the United States, and they're prone to it for some reason. Either they don't pay a living wage or they just don't set stuff up right. And the large quantities will sometimes spontaneously combust. We're not real sure what happened here. Ken Tyree and the whole West Virginia State Fire Marshal's office, I think all of them were here, but they were interviewing employees and interviewing people around the area. So hopefully they'll get to the bottom of it. But as one smart guy said, all the evidence was burned up. So it makes it more difficult.
David Blair Couch joining us, Wood County Commission President. DEP has been on site since this fire started raging back on Sunday, monitoring air quality. What's the latest update from the DEP?
Well, the DEP was first on the scene, and they can pull particulate matter. The second group that showed up was the EPA, and they also pulling particulates, but they were doing testing. By all indications, it's nothing different than a house fire. Plastics, wood, and the outfall that they were getting was pure carbon. So whatever it was that burned up, it burned up to soot. Still doesn't mean that people are not concerned. But we had to do a shelter in place yesterday, and it was based on parts per million of particulate. And I think the magic number was 50, and we were exceeding that over near a campground, so we ordered them to shelter in place. We reached out to them through a geofencing call out to see if they wanted to go to a shelter. We opened a shelter Sunday night and had no takers. and we were accepting donations. And oh my God, did we fill up some firehouses with bottles of water and snacks, and just amazing, the outpouring of the community. And it's amazing, these guys are volunteers. The Parkersburg Fire Department was first on the scene, and I think they probably were last. And so we have a great gratitude to Mayor Joyce and his firemen. So I ask you a question. What's the difference between a volunteer fireman and a fireman that works for a city and gets paid?
Not much, David. Not much. It's just a department.
Really not much, and you got to be careful with your language. I can't call the Parkersburg PD guys professionals, or else I'll have a whole room full of volunteers mad at me. And so you can say the best I found out this weekend was you can call the Parkersburg firemen career firemen. And I served with the fire chief, and he said, just call the volunteers amateurs. And I did, and I never heard the end of it.
Yeah, I bet that puts you in a pickle. Talk to me about that soot, because I know when we talked a few days ago, residents were concerned potentially it was coming down on their gardens and their plants, and also that livestock may drink the water that has in it. What answers have you gotten those residents when it comes to how to handle that?
You know, DEP, along with the Secretary of Agriculture, who is that now?
Kent Leonhardt, Ag Secretary.
Oh, he's still there?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't watch his race too much. But their office put out a statement about being safe and secure, making sure that if you have stuff in the garden, go ahead and wash the vegetables. I know our WVU Extension Officer, J.J. Barrett here in Wood County, was on our local TV, and he was talking about using a solution of part hydrogen peroxide and water to rinse off things in your garden that you were prepared to eat. And but out of an abundance of caution, we'd be cautious about it. But we did get sampling done. It's crazy. The EPA will not release details about their testing. And
why not?
I tried to push them. I don't know. So last fire at Ames, we hired our own company to come around and test because we were unaware of what was being burnt. The MS data sheets for the IEI fire were not forthcoming. The one thing we can say about People's Cartage is that they are quick to provide us any details they need, diagrams and schematics of their plant. And that was really great. So, you know, I'm not a first responder nor a second responder. I'm just kind of have to hang out in the room. And every now and again, they turn to me and say, hey, can we spend this money?
The life of a county commissioner. David Blair Couch joining us, Wood County Commission President. Hey, Dave, before we let you go, whether it's professional firefighters, career firefighters, volunteer fire departments, how was the coordination and cooperation between all of these agencies that responded the last several days?
Well, you got, when we had the other fire, it was a little bit larger, but it burned for 10 days. And this fire we got down in 2.5. And so as firemen arrived on the scene, they had incident command, and they would tell them where they need to be on the fire line. Where they shouldn't be was a bigger, concern to some. And it really, really worked out well. We were able to quickly contact a company called SPSI out of Washington, PA, and they have specialty river pumps. And so they came down and put an 8-inch line in and 2 5s, and the amount of water we put on the fire was unbelievable. My son's a mechanical engineer, soon to be, and he asked me a question. Hey, Dad, ask him what the flow rate is. And I was like, well, now I'll sound like I know something. And it was 9,000 gallons per minute. That's on one of the pumps. So we had 2 of those running. We were putting 18,000 gallons a minute on that fire.
Wow. David Blair
Matt.
Couch, Wood County Commission President. Give our best to all of the firefighters and everyone who's been responding to get that fire out. We thought it might take a week. It took them 2.5 days, and we'll stay in touch as this next phase unfolds. Thank you so much for the update this morning.
Yes, sir. I hope everybody knows to go to their local news sources for up-to-the-minute news, Metro News being at the top of the heap.
David, we appreciate it. Take care. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coming up, we'll check in with Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage. He is at the NATO summit in Turkey where President Trump said ceasefire's over. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
At WVU Medicine's Heart and Vascular Institute, excellence isn't just a promise, it's proven. Our advanced heart surgery program ranks among the top 3% in the nation by the Society of Thoracic Surgeons and was named a high-performing hospital by U.S. News and World Report with multiple areas of distinction. In medicine, we lead with world-class outcomes and groundbreaking procedures. Visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
One of the ladies asked me in the forum if I know how to drive in the snow. I told her, oh yeah, I spent 5 years in Elkin.
See, that's one of those things. I mean, you're moving. This is basically coming back to Florida here when you get to Fairmont. I mean, this is easy.
It's going to be a breeze.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Let's go to Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage, who is in Turkey at the NATO summit and is actually awaiting President Trump in the press room. So Jonathan might have to skedaddle quickly this morning. Jonathan, good morning. Thanks for joining us. President Trump really not mincing words, saying in his mind ceasefire is over and it's a waste of time to negotiate with Iran.
Yeah, that is what he said, and it has, I think, overshadowed much of this NATO summit here in Ankara. The words he used to describe the Iranian leadership were incredibly strong. He called them a cancer. He said they were liars. He called them sick. And he placed any doubt on the value of negotiating with them. He said he's going to let his negotiating team continue talks, but he doesn't think it's going to be worthwhile. We've also heard from President Trump that there will be another strike on Iran tonight, another big strike on Iran. He said that before he went to speak for a meeting with President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine. And right now I'm in a absolutely jam-packed press theater. It's a pretty large theater. It's standing room only. There's people all around me, and we've had a bit of an odd scene, actually. We were all forced to leave the theater, and they wouldn't tell us why. They made anyone with a camera put the lens cap on their camera before they left. Something mysterious happened. We've been allowed back in, and now they've erected a strange kind of barrier around the podium, that's sort of thigh height. Nobody knows why. Very odd.
Security risk? I mean, I don't want to speculate, but
possibly, maybe it was to do with a sweep of some kind, but then they were really insisted that the camera lenses were on, so nothing could be filmed. So maybe it was something security related, but it was just a bit odd. We haven't seen this before. Certainly last year's NATO summit, nothing like that happened. So interesting, I think.
Talking to Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage is in Turkey at the NATO summit. What has been the international reaction to the latest developments as attacks have resumed with Iran?
Well, look, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, whose job it is to keep the alliance together, to keep everybody on side, he has spoken out in support of the latest attacks in Iran, saying that Iran breached the ceasefire and that President Trump and the United States military had to do what they did. Mark Rutte, a strong supporter of President Trump in every sense. He goes out of his way to give President Trump every credit for European countries agreeing to increase their military spending to 5% at the last year's NATO summit, and this year was meant to be about showing how they're going to do that, where the money is going to come from, how quickly they'll do it, and how they will spend it. Unfortunately, that aspect of things has been overshadowed by events in the Middle East.
With the Trump administration being there, and I'm sure his folks are talking with other administrations and their folks, is the timing somewhat fortuitous in that it's an opportunity for Mr. Trump and his aides to speak directly with their counterparties and make them see and make their case privately about why Iran is so troublesome? And I guess it's one thing to pick up the phone, but another to be face-to-face with these folks as this next stage with Iran unfolds. What, if any, difference do you think that would make?
Yeah, possibly a difference, because President Trump has made it clear that he is not happy with NATO allies, certainly with European countries who didn't offer enough support, he felt, for Operation Epic Fury. Now, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has tried to sort of dampen that row by pointing out that nearly 5,000 sorties were flown from European bases over the course of Operation Epic Fury. But President Trump has come here and he very publicly talked about how he felt that the test was failed by countries such as the UK, France, and Germany. Now, it's reported that he didn't raise this in the NATO Council meeting, but he certainly raised it publicly, so he wants people to know how unhappy he is.
Fox News Radio's Jonathan Savage in Turkey for the NATO summit, awaiting a news conference with President Trump as we speak. Jonathan, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for the update this morning.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. Calls us from the press. Halpern wouldn't do that. You know that, TJ? Halpern wouldn't call us from the press room. Jonathan Savage will. I'll ask. I'm going to bring that up to Jared next time we have him on. You know, Jonathan Savage called us from the press room. Yeah. When's the last time you did that?
your buddy one up you kind of thing. It is kind of interesting what he was talking about, though. I mean, they made him cap all the lenses, go out of the room, and then there's some kind of, what did he call it? A barrier?
Yeah, so I got Fox News on one of the monitors here in the studio, and they've got a little real-time shot of that press room or theater there. It's down the lower third. It's hard to see. But I see what he's talking about. It's like a thigh-high wall where, you got the presidential podium, and then off to the sides of it's like a thigh-high wall around what I presume would be, the people who stand off to the left and right of the president. So, yeah, that's curious.
It is curious. And you know what? It's probably something just innocent. And, there was supposed to be some kind of, for aesthetic purposes, and I don't know. I don't want to make more of it than it should be, but it is interesting.
Hey, when you are in that role, when it comes to security around the president of the United States or any international leader, I mean, anything, right? Anything has to be taken seriously.
Well, I got to tell you, oil prices are jumping. I'm sure you've been looking at that too. I was just taking a look at all this. I mean, up almost 5%. So there you go. Here we go again.
Yeah, I went and filled up. I got the cars filled up yesterday. I'm like, I better do this now, just in case.
It just seems like a roller coaster, man, that you never get off of, like the seesaw. I mean, when are we finally going to figure this out? What does like from now on look like? I don't have the answer, but we need to find it.
We'll get to your text at 304 Talk 304 coming up. We'll bring it back home. Some crazy things happening locally. We'll get into that right after this. Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Through the work weekend, I'm still monitoring some daily likely chances of rain and storms. And with some up to above average moisture to tap into, there will be that risk of some localized flash flooding. Be mindful of generally 1 to 2 inches of rain total over the next 5 days, with that risk of locally higher amounts with any of these daily chances of thunderstorms. Most of us in the state are included in a marginal risk of excessive rain. That's for localized flash flooding that is possible today and tonight. Seasonably warm yesterday in terms of our temps. We had a low at 70, high of 88 in Charleston, average is 86. A slight chance of an isolated shower and storm this morning. A number of us, some low visibility with some patchy to widespread dense fog, and then partly sunny skies and a chance of showers and storms this afternoon, likely overnight. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Some areas of the southeast United States and the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida up to a heat wave underneath a strong ridge and well above average heat and humidity there. Tampa 97 approaching a record high tomorrow. Myrtle Beach near 92. Chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs in like the mid-80s up here with a chance of showers and storms this afternoon and tonight. For our eastern areas, the flood watch is gone, but be mindful of some up to localized flash flooding with any showers and storms for some of our western areas here. Highs, a lot of mid to upper 80s for a number of spots. Point Pleasant this time near 88, 87 in Parkersburg. Huntington have you near 90 today, Bluefield near 80, Lewisburg near 82, with that risk of showers and storms. We do have another front coming in from the northwest for the weekend, keeping our likely chances of rain alive. Chance Monday, maybe dry Tuesday, with a high near 87 degrees Tuesday next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
304 Talk 304 800 765 8255. That's the text line. That's the phone number. We'll get to your text coming up in just a bit. Mike Nolting is the host of Talk of the Town, heard on MetroNews Morgantown flagship WAJR weekdays prior to this fine program. He's also heads up the WAJR newsroom. It's been a wild couple of days with local news in north central West Virginia. We'll start in Marion County. First, say good morning to Mike from the WAJR studios this morning. Mike, good morning.
To be here.
I had to hit the right button. Let me say that again. Mike, good morning. Sorry.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Glad to be here.
All right, let's start in Barrickville. Then we'll get to Morgantown and hostile architecture, which you're going to have to explain to me. But in Barrickville, small town in Marion County, about 1,000 people in Barrickville city limits. Mike, the entire police department fired? What's going on in Barrickville?
The entire police department relieved of their duties yesterday afternoon. That happened just before 2 p.m. Now, a week prior to that announcement, the chief there, Zachary Freeburn, announced his abrupt resignation. There was never really any explanation given on either instance when it occurred. Then, City Council, they've got their first meeting set with the new lineup for last night. Well, that meeting is then called off. Now we're getting reports that there could have been a member of City Council that got into the evidence vault. We've heard reports that maybe members of City Council trying to take over direct control of the police department. It sounds like a wild story.
I don't even know where to go, Mike. I mean, is it small town America? People just not getting along here, and it's gone too far. I mean, what should we make of all this?
Well, you know what, TJ? I think maybe that is the hopeful explanation. I think that the worst case scenario could be that maybe there are some misdeeds going on here among the council, and maybe that's why they're not talking. I know that the former chief says that members of council have violated state code. We've reached out to the state police to see if maybe there's something going on there. Haven't heard back from them in that regard yet.
So in the meantime, and look, Barrickville Police Department, not a huge department. I think all in all, 3 people have either been let go or resigned as a matter of this dispute, plus the police chief last week, Mike. So number one, small police department, but who's watching Barrickville now with the police department all fired?
That's a good question, Dave, and you're right. You've got a chief, 2 patrolmen that operate in that town. One could only assume now that the Marion County Sheriff Roger Cunningham is asked to deploy some assets in that area.
I've never been to Barrickville. I need to check it out, and I'm not trying to be disparaging of the good people of Barrickville, and I'm sure they are good people. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if this raises a larger question, fellas, in that, sometimes these small towns, maybe they shouldn't have been a town in the first place. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and the protocols are missed, and you don't have audits and all these different things. Mike, it'll be interesting to see what else comes out of this, I guess, as higher levels of government, counties, the state, they take a look at what's going on here.
TJ, that's a great point, because as you've got this going on in Barrickville involving the police department just over in Worthington, you've got a similar situation happening with the city-operated utility. And it's created discord in the town to the point that you've got outsiders coming in, federal lawsuits. It is certainly a jungle of crazy, as we call it here.
WAJR's Mike Nolting joining us. Meanwhile, up in the University City, Morgantown City Council is tackling hostile infrastructure, hostile architecture. What are we talking about, Mike?
Okay, well, I can give you the book definition of hostile infrastructure, and that is it uses built environments to restrict specific behaviors or exclude certain demographics, like unhoused people, youth, and or skaters from public places. Now, specifically, what we're talking about here is a $7,500 grant the city of Morgantown received from AARP, and with that they purchased some 8-foot benches that have a center armrest. That center armrest, that is hostile infrastructure because it prevents someone from laying down. Now, Some other examples of hostile infrastructure that were brought up in last night's meeting that are included in this resolution are what are called, they are anti-homeless spikes. They could be metal studs, jagged concrete edges that are placed on ledges and sidewalks that prevent people from walking. Also, believe it or not, there's a whole section in here about plants that you can use, plants that you can't use because certain plants are less welcoming than others.
Plants? Some plants are less welcoming than others.
Well,
oh my goodness, that ficus, it's going to get me. Good night.
Here, and really to put this into perspective, guys, we're doing this as the West Virginia Coalition to End Homelessness is pulling out of the West Run homeless facility that'll make 20 or 30 people looking for a place to go. Then you've also got the road issues that every city in West Virginia has, but here in Morgantown, they also have budget issues, and then, you can't forget Republic Services. And this is where City Council really missed out because local delegate David McCormick, he had the spotlight on Republic Services last week. All Morgantown had to do was come in and take advantage of that. They could have almost assumed ownership of it, but we're worried about benches.
So, you know what? Sometimes you do have to laugh, Dave, and bow to the absurd. And I feel like that's what we're doing here. I was on vacation last week, guys. I was in Hilton Head. And they were more modern benches, but they had this. I didn't even know what it was. I thought, oh, how nice. Because that way you know what your defined space is and you're not encroaching on someone else's when you sit down. Or it's an armrest to help people get up. You can have both arms that way. My nephew's like, you know what that's for, don't you? I'm like, no. And he tells me. And I'm like, okay. But I'm looking at a picture here someone sent me of these benches. I mean, they look very nice, very aesthetically pleasing. I don't understand.
I have to tell the whole story here because during the debate over hostile infrastructure, Mayor Danielle Trumbull did say, you know what, this is really becoming a lot more than what it should be. We need to call the question and move on. A counselor out of the 4th Ward, Wheeze Michael, brought up the point of kind of the things that I've been bringing up about roads and all these other issues that we need to deal with. Can we just move on with this issue?
So are they going to take the benches out, Mike?
Okay.
What are we going to do here?
Well, the first thing that we have to do is we have to conduct an inventory to find out how much hostile infrastructure that we do have. Once we can assess
assessment.
Now, this is the work of the municipality, and so once we have a handle on exactly how much hostile infrastructure that there is, then we're going to take steps to never do that again, and we're going to go back and find out why it happened in the first place. At the same time, we're going to be developing new standards for contractors and for suppliers. And, this is another one of those issues where, you can ask for anything that you want. But, sometimes my brother tells me that if you have to worry about what something costs, then you probably shouldn't be ordering it. So what I'm saying here is that if you've got a bone to pick with hostile infrastructure, maybe you might want to price the alternatives before you outlaw it.
What is the assessment going to cost? I mean, like $300,000 to figure all this out?
No. I think this assessment will be done in-house, and I believe that it has already largely been completed. That assessment shows us that we have 15 hostile infrastructure benches that belong to Morgantown, 15 that belong to the Mountain Lair, I believe, the Mountain Line Transit, which the city has no control over, by the way. And then Bow Park has just a handful of these hostile benches.
By the way, text into the bat phone, put googly eyes on the plants to make them more welcoming. Mike.
Googly eyes.
Why didn't I think of that?
Species? Do we know what species are considered intimidating? I mean, I just got to ask now at this point. I mean, seriously, is it
like cacti or
we're
Venus
talking
flytrap? Or
we're talking about the use of impenetrable hedges or hostile plant life to include large boulders that would block alcoves and prevent people from pitching tents or camping.
Roses? I mean, every rose has a thorn, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard the tale about Blair Rabbit.
Mike.
You know what, though? Thank you for reporting on this, because people need to know how stupid this is. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be negative. I don't know any other word. But, I mean, we have some honest-to-goodness real problems in this state. We have kids that didn't eat last night. We have people in counties that create hardly any economic activity at all. They're dying, they're poor, they're suffering, and this is what we're talking. It's just, it's disheartening.
Mike, do you ever wake up and go, boy, it's the middle of July, what am I going to talk about on Talk of the Town this morning? And then you look and go, oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the next 4 days.
But in this particular case, I had to look at it and say, wow, it's really happening. Because a lot of times you can see these things coming. But with the way Morgantown City Council has changed the committee of the whole, this went through what they call a workshop process, where they can just, I think, get 2 or 3 councilors to agree. Then they can just get it in front of council for a vote. So, things move a lot quicker these days.
I've got it. I just have to say it. I'm probably going to get in trouble, but I've got it. Let's take the plants that are, mean, and the benches that tick people off. Let's replant those plants underneath transmission lines and then put the benches right there so people can sit. How about that?
I think that might be a good idea. I think actually the way that I was looking at this is that I've often heard proponents of folks in the unhoused community talking about how we have no idea the talents and the things that they're able to do, and now all of a sudden they lack the ability to find comfort. And I find that hard to believe that these industrious people now all of a sudden cannot be comfortable.
Well, I mean, they got plants in the way, Mike. They got these intimidating plants in the way. Yeah. It's hard to do. Mike, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Keep us posted, buddy.
Take care, guys.
All right, Mike Nolting from the WAJR Newsroom, host of Talk of the Town on MetroNews flagship WAJR weekdays prior to this program. It's real life. It's real life. We'll get to the text line next, 304-TALK, 304-800-765-TALK. This is Talkline from the Encove Insurance Studios.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in store at Daniel's.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia,
The High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304. That is the text line. Coming up 11:06 this morning, friend of the show Robert Bolton is going to join us, Fairmont State political science professor. How old is too old when it comes to elected office? We'll dive into that topic coming up second hour of the program. 304 Talk 304 is the text line. Oh boy, where do we begin? Let's begin here. A couple of things that we need to respond to. All right, you ready for this one? Look at the good little boys, Dave and TJ, kneeling to the military-industrial complex and the sex abuser as to Iran. Sure, just finished the job and diplomacy does work, say the armchair generals from the comfort of their studios, knowing their lives are not at risk. As for the Iranians, they're expendable anyway, right? Diplomacy did work, says the texter. The JCPOA severely restricted Iran's nuclear enrichment and imposed rigorous unannounced inspections. It went into effect in 2016, was torn up by the sex abuser in 2018. The result was Iran resuming uranium enrichment without any oversight, leading to the up to 60% enrichment we see now. Don't forget, this war was of choice by the sex abuser and is directly his fault. The DNI Tulsi Gabbard testified to Congress right before the war that Iran did not pose a threat. What was the last time the sex abuser testified? Oh, yeah, in the E. Jean Carroll case when he was found to have sexually abused her. Any thoughts, Mr. Meadows?
How's that? A couple of things. Number one, yeah, little boy, fine. That's fine. Talk about my mother next. That's great psychology. Look, you may not like my opinion on something, and I can appreciate that. And I value very much the fact that people tune into this show every day, and we can share what we think and we can discuss. And that's what it should be. And I appreciate your counter thoughts. But, I don't think you or I, Dave, I don't want to speak for you. You speak for yourself in a second. I don't think either one of us are ever kneeling to anyone. No one tells us what to think, what to say, what to write a commentary about. And quite frankly, the day that happens is the day I walk out the door. And it's not going to happen because we work for great people. We don't bow to anybody. So, okay, appreciate it.
As far as your counterpoint goes, Iranians are expendable. Sure, the Iranian government sure thinks they're expendable. They have killed way more of their own people than the United States has, as far as that goes. And no, I don't take this very lightly, but Iran in the Middle East, they do not do diplomacy. They have never done diplomacy. For 40 years, Iran has been a pain in the side of every country in the Middle East. This is not a regime you can negotiate with. And why people on the right, long time, hardcore Donald Trump supporters did not like the deal because it was basically JCPOA Part 2. They didn't like the deal, and Iran was flaunting it. The only thing it understands is brute force. And we have a couple of options. Go in, knock them completely out, take out Carg Island, or just strangle their economy until they cannot exist. Or we try this deal again, and clearly the deal didn't work.
No, and it won't. It never will. This culture, this issue in the Middle East, especially with Iran, has been going on for centuries and centuries and centuries. You are not going to change it. And the sooner we come to that realization and understand the options that you just talked about and figure out what is best for the United States of America, the better off we will be.
304 Talk 304. That's the text line. Got to take a break. Back to wrap up hour number 1 in just a moment. Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $434 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $604 million. So go ahead, play today.
In West Virginia, community is everything. It's about showing up for each other. Vin Salango and the team at Salango Law don't just work here, they live here, proudly sponsoring local events and giving back to the neighborhoods they love. So when you're facing a serious injury, trust the local team that's always in your corner. They spent over 25 years fighting for West Virginia families. Salango Law. Get results, not excuses. Visit us at salangolaw.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Couple of texts here before the top of the hour. 304 Talk 304. A year ago, you guys were complaining about panhandling and crackheads laying everywhere, needles, trash, and camping. Believe it or not, these are viable solutions that keep undesirables out of certain areas. Make up your mind. What do you want to do with them? What do you want them to do with homeless people? Put them in jail for being poor or sick or having substance abuse problems? You right-wing nutbags are never happy. Put all brown people and homeless in jail is what you guys want. I'm not even sure what you're mad. I'm not sure what the texter's mad about that we're mad about.
Yeah, I'm lost on that too.
I'm confused. Guys, it's not stupid. It's intentional. They want the homeless to lay down and sleep and the rocks removed so they can pitch tents and plants removed so everyone can see all of this and feel bad for these people who choose to live this way. Regardless of how you feel, TJ, it's interesting that your nephew knew what those were for.
He's smarter than I am.
You know what? If you don't exist in that world, you probably wouldn't give it a second thought if you saw a bench with an armrest in the middle. Would you? If you don't exist in that in this type of world, would you even give it a second thought to go, oh, that's meant to keep people from laying down on the bench?
Probably not, to be honest. I will ask him how he learned of that. Now I am curious how he learned of that. But no, my first thought was, I think what a lot of people would have, I thought it was perhaps dual-sided to help people get up, was my first thought, I will admit.
304 Talk 304. Oh, by the way, I'm not even going to read this text, but I'll just tell you, we've now moved on to, wait a minute, wait for it, who's to blame for the war in Iran? Israel. We've now moved on to that on the text line today. It's a fun day. It's been a fun first hour of the show. Come on back for the second hour. How old is too old for elected office? We'll get into that subject. Robert Bolton will join us. More of your text, 304 Talk 304. It's Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Through the work weekend, I'm still monitoring some daily likely chances of rain and storms. And with some up to above average moisture to tap into, there will be that risk of some localized flash flooding. Be mindful of generally 1 to 2 inches of rain total over the next 5 days, with that risk of locally higher amounts with any of these daily chances of thunderstorms. Most of us in the state are included in a marginal risk of excessive rain. That's for localized flash flooding that is possible today and tonight. Seasonally warm yesterday in terms of our temps. We had a low at 70, high of 88 in Charleston, average is 86. A slight chance of an isolated shower and storm this morning. A number of us, some low visibility with some patchy to widespread dense fog. And then partly sunny skies and a chance of showers and storms this afternoon, likely overnight. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Some areas of the southeast United States and the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida up to a heat wave underneath a strong ridge and well above average heat and humidity there. Tampa 97 approaching a record high tomorrow. Myrtle Beach near 92. Chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs in like the mid 80s up here with a chance of showers and storms this afternoon and tonight. For our eastern areas, the flood watch is gone, but be mindful of some up to localized flash flooding with any showers and storms for some of our western areas here. Highs, a lot of mid to upper 80s for a number of spots. Point Pleasant this time near 88, 87 in Parkersburg. Huntington have you near 90 today. Bluefield near 80, Lewisburg near 82, with that risk of showers and storms. We do have another front coming in from the northwest for the weekend, keeping our likely chances of rain alive. Chance Monday, maybe dry Tuesday, with a high near 87 degrees Tuesday next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of Metro News Talkline. We're in the Encova Insurance Studios. Once again, say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. We appreciate you letting us be part of your day. Jake Link is our video producer. Ethan Collins is our radio producer. TJ's in Charleston. I'm in Morgantown. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. 800-765-8255. 304-TALK, 304. That is the text line. We'll still get to the text line. Oh, they're rolling in now. Get some of your texts coming up. A little bit later, we'll talk with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition, get an update on the potential impacts of the rollback of Clean Water Act regulations on drinking water sources, particularly in the Charleston area. That's coming up bottom of the hour. Once again, good morning, TJ, down in Charleston.
Morning, buddy.
What were you doing there during the break, by the way? I saw you on the camera, on the spy cam.
Oh, someone had sent me a note the other day and said, getting weird feedback, said they would be interested in seeing what the studio looked like.
Oh, yeah.
I said, you know what? I can do that. And I just hadn't gotten around to it, so I filmed it, and I will put it on my Facebook page.
We were, not to get creepy, but Jake and I were talking out in the production room, which is over there if you're watching on the TV. And we go, what's he doing? Is he FaceTiming somebody? I think he's recording a video.
Yeah.
So I was curious. I'm like, you know what? We'll just ask him when we come back.
I'm glad you asked. Yeah, a little tour. I was talking with a friend of mine, actually in Washington, D.C., and she'll listen on occasions, and it's just like, so you do this out of your house? I said, no, I go to a studio. And she's like, well, what's it look like? I said, well, you know what? I'll take care of that. And then I filmed it, and I thought, well, other people may want to know, so I just put it on the Facebook page.
I find that, we'll get to Robert Bolton here. I am fascinated, and I think there's something to the reason shows like Dirty Jobs worked. And some of the things you find on YouTube, I'm a sucker for farming videos. My wife makes fun of me. But seeing how other people do their jobs and getting that curtain pulled back a little bit to understand what goes into being an electrician, what goes into being a farmer, what goes into being, a radio host, the kind of things you work in every day. I find that stuff fascinating about other people's careers that I don't know that much about. So maybe we take that for granted too often.
I think we do. One of the most enjoyable parts of my energy career was at a time when I was an account manager dealing with large customers that use a lot of electricity. And you would take those folks and take them to a power plant and let them see. I can't tell you how many people I've taken to John Amos over the years. And once they see that, I mean, it's eye-opening to them. And I think your point stands. That's why, people like watching Micro. They like seeing this and that and going, it's kind of like Mr. Rogers. Remember, he used to take us to the post office and he'd take us to the bread factory and all these. It's just interesting. So, I kind of geek out on that too.
All right, Jake, get on that. Our next MetroNews TV project. We'll do some sort of behind-the-scenes show. We're working. We got ideas we're working on, by the way, Jake and I. $1 million ideas for the video side.
Well, I wish you all well.
Or at least $100 ideas, possibly. All right, TJ's got a commentary over at WVMetroNews.com this morning as questions continue to swirl about the health of Kentucky Senator and former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. His office has been very coy about his health status, releasing few details on his health updates or if or when he will return to the Senate. Of course, the rumor mill is fully churning. And TJ, you get into the question this morning. It's not a new question. This conversation has come up many times, but what about an age limit for elected officials?
Yeah, and it is a question. It has a lot of salience. People like to talk about it when it pops up, especially when we read with what Mitch McConnell is going through. And of course, we wish him the best. I do think, Dave, his staff has invited a lot of this by not being more direct with people and letting them know the senator's condition. But at what point, perhaps, has the body outlived the mind? I don't know that the framers ever thought about that. They certainly, as I argue in the piece and note from various portions of the Federalist Papers, they certainly wanted a level of stamina. They wanted a level of intelligence, experience, character that they thought would not manifest itself until certain ages. So they put caps on the House, or age minimums, I should say, on the House and the Senate and the presidency, respectively. So I think we can be respectful. We can ask this question. It's not necessarily about McConnell or Trump or Biden or whoever is next, but I think it's a question that we owe ourselves an answer on. And frankly, I think our leaders in Washington should be talking about this, and they're not. So read the piece, and very curious to see what people think about this.
Let's bring Robert Bolton into the conversation, friend of the program, Fairmont State University political science professor. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, TJ. And I will just say, as a brief side note, I was listening in at the beginning of your conversation, and I did chuckle because I know as a lawyer, people always enjoy when I bring them into the courtroom. They find it very fascinating, unless, of course, they are the criminal defendant.
Yeah, they might not be so interested in it.
Yeah, they're not as thrilled under those circumstances.
So, Robert, let's put some context to this conversation. There are minimum age requirements outlined in the Constitution for Congress, for Senate, for President. Why not on the other end? Why not age maximums?
Well, that's a great question. I would say you, quite frankly, can look even here in West Virginia for some great examples of both extremely young and extremely old members of Congress. We had the youngest U.S. senator ever elected from West Virginia. He was a guy named Rush Dew Holt, who was elected during the New Deal era. He was only 29, and he actually had to wait about 6 months before he was able to take his seat. And then you had on the other end, you had Robert C. Byrd, who was the longest serving U.S. senator of all time. And he'd served for a little over 50 years. I think it was 51, maybe 52 years before he passed away. And no disrespect towards Senator Byrd or his family, but I had a few run-ins with him in the years prior to his death. And to be blunt, it was pretty obvious that he was in pretty steep mental decline. And he's not the oldest person who's ever served in the U.S. Senate. That would be Strom Thurmond of South Carolina. He was literally 101 years old, maybe even 102, before he finally retired.
So, Robert, critics, well, I won't say critics, people who have chimed in on this piece and this issue, they say, you know what? we have something to safeguard against that, TJ. They are called elections. And the people still, despite knowing of these mental declines and knowing of the age, still elect these people. So what's your problem with it, is what they have told me. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wrong.
You know, the cynic in me says that's all well and good, but it's important to remember individuals have a huge incumbency advantage. We all say, oh, we need to throw all the bums out of Congress, except for my congressman, because I happen to like him because he sent me a nice letter when my first son was born, or he attended some meeting and remembered my name from the last time we met. So they like their own person, and that's why you have people who have been in there for 30, 40, 50 years who may not be at the top of their game anymore. And I should emphasize, I do know many people who are in their 70s and 80s who are still very mentally alert and are capable of doing the job. But on other occasions, you do have individuals who have been in there for a long period of time. They aren't able to do as well. But because they are already in power, they are able to use their current authority to basically strong-arm out of the way anyone else. Now, I will say you have seen a couple of occasions in recent years where you have seen long-term incumbents who have been either voted out of office or more or less pressured into retiring. For example, out in California, you had Dianne Feinstein, who was a former mayor of San Francisco, I believe the first female senator from California ever. In her last couple of years, it was very obvious she was suffering from dementia. And basically it got to the point where a couple of congressmen from California and other California politicians announced, hey, we're going to run against her. And people were reading the tea leaves and saying this is going to create some very awkward questions for the senator about her legacy, and be it her family, her staff, her campaign donors, someone eventually persuaded her to retire with dignity. And then she died, just a couple of months later. You see it all the time.
Robert Bolton joining us, Fairmont State University political science professor. Robert, let's say there was an age limit, 75, 80, whatever the case may be. Could it stand up to a legal challenge?
Constitutionally, absolutely not. Right now, there are minimum age requirements for most of the federal elected offices. It's 25 if you want to be a U.S. congressman. It's 30 to be sworn in as a U.S. senator, and it's 35 to be the U.S. president. And you say, well, why should it be 35 for president? The idea behind the Founding Fathers was they wanted someone with some seasoning to them. They wanted someone with some experience. And they said 35 rather than, say, 45 or 50, because it's important to remember the average lifespan in 1787 was right around 40 or 45 years old. There were plenty of people who lived to be into their 70s and even their 80s at that time, but it was not quite as common. And if you look at the Founding Fathers, even George Washington, when he died, he was only in his early 60s. Abraham Lincoln was only 51 when he was elected president. But what you've seen in the course of the 20th and 21st century as medical care has improved, as the quality of life has improved, as it's quite frankly a less harsh world on the human body, people are living longer and longer. And so you're seeing the average age of whoever's elected president, who's ever in Congress, being pushed upward. But if someone were to say, we're going to, let's say the legislature of West Virginia said there will be no congressman elected over the age of 70. Well, immediately, Congressman Miller or, Senator Justice would justifiably sue and say there's no additional requirement in the Constitution. You can't impose any additional burdens that are not in the Constitution. The same thing came up in the 1990s when some of the southern states attempted to impose term limit restrictions, where they said you can only serve X number of terms in Congress before you're not eligible to run again. I think you would see the same challenge to any state or federal law that attempted to impose an age requirement, and I think it would the law would probably be struck down as a constitutional matter. Same thing if you tried to impose something requiring someone pass a cognitive exam. I think that one might have a better chance of survival, but I don't think that many politicians would want to invite that type of scrutiny upon themselves. And so I will be very surprised if you see something like that ever passed at either the state or federal level.
The brilliance of the Constitution is that it can be changed through the amendment process. Does this issue ever rise to a level of concern in America where citizens will do what is necessary for a constitutional amendment to add such restrictions?
Maybe, but it's been my experience that usually amendments only arise after there's been some type of significant crisis that has affected the republic. So, for example, the big Civil War amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, only came in the aftermath of winning the war against the Confederacy and the abolition of slavery. The lowering of the age requirement for voting, the 25th Amendment, only came about because of the strong political debates going on over the war in Vietnam, saying we have 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are fighting and dying in Southeast Asia, but they're not allowed to vote on their congressman who sent them to war. So I think in order for something like that to happen, where you have a requirement that someone pass a mental competency exam or a health check, or there be an age cap, I think you would have to see something like, to be blunt, probably the president of the United States being diagnosed with a fatal illness or severe cognitive decline while they are in office. Because even right now, there are measures in place to declare the president incompetent, and there are measures in place where Congress can remove a congressman from the body if the Congress determines it's appropriate. But those are both very difficult things. I really wish we did have a more serious conversation about this. Obviously, a few years ago, there was discussion about whether or not Joe Biden was competent in the last, especially year or two that he was serving as president, if he'd been declining precipitously. Especially that June of 2024 presidential debate really put that in the spotlight after years of denial from his staff. You're seeing conversations among critics of Donald Trump today, whether or not he's mentally declining. And even going back to Ronald Reagan in his last years in office, he appeared mostly lucid and appeared to be capable of doing the job, but 5 years later, in 94, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. 5 years back, was he already showing symptoms? I've seen neuroscientists who say probably not, but still, the fact that that's even a conversation is pretty concerning. The last thing I would say is of course, there is one risk here, guys. If you do put an age cap, and let's say no one's eligible for federal office after 80, most demographic experts say we're only going to continue to get older, especially with new advances in medical care. It's very well possible that if the average American person lives to be, say, 78, 79 today, who's to say that the average American won't be 85, 90, or maybe even 100 years, 50 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Robert Bolton, Fairmont State University political science professor. Interesting conversation, Robert. Glad you could be a part of it this morning.
Absolutely. Very much enjoyed this, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. 800-765-TALKS, the phone number. 304-TALK. 304 is the text line. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. And now is the perfect time to connect. Local customer support you can trust, perfect from working from home, streaming, and even gaming. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. We're back in a moment.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play. Wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in store at Daniel's.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Jeff Jenkins will be along a little bit later this hour with breaking news from the State Board of Education meeting another school system being taken over by the state. Harrison County schools now under the control of the state school board. Jeff will have details about 20 minutes from now. A couple of texts here. 304 Talk 304. With the McConnell issue, it brings to suggest it would be best to have an illness stipulation that if you will be unavailable to carry out your job as an elected official for a specific time frame, you're obligated to resign. We vote for ability, not inability. Politicians think of themselves after election. Robert Byrd's worst day is better than the clowns who are in charge up there now. Also, long-term senators have staff that can handle a lot of things. Congress and legislatures were not meant to be lifelong endeavors, says the texter. Look, fun topic, interesting to talk about. It's all theoretical. I mean, what? It takes 2/3 of Congress vote to get a constitutional amendment done, which we would need if we were actually going to do this. They can't even vote on a budget, let alone a constitutional amendment. Secondly, TJ, when it comes to the political polarization, the only time mental acuity or age gets brought up is when it's somebody in the other party. And this goes on both sides. Republicans, I don't see them out questioning McConnell's health right now. Democrats weren't bringing anything up about Joe Biden's mental decline until it was unavoidable in that debate with Donald Trump a little over a year ago now, or a couple of years ago now. So getting anybody to agree on anything to actually do something, it's not going to happen.
Thomas Massey has been critical, but he's doing it in a very disrespectful way, makes him look like a jerk, so no one's taking him seriously. You shouldn't be disrespectful because people will do that. They will not take you seriously. We haven't even got into, Dave, the implications of the 17th Amendment and how that exacerbated the problem. You know, state legislatures, when they picked who the senator was going to be, you know, would this kind of thing still happen? I don't know. So is there a role there that you need to talk about? I agree with you. I agree with Robert. It's going to take something serious, something that enough people are so upset about that they want to change the way this works, whether that's another Vietnam War type event, whether or not, to his point, a president is diagnosed, or the other one, a president is diagnosed but does not share. That will be one that breaks loose.
You mean like Woodrow Wilson?
Well, Edith Galt was a heck of a president, some people say. I think she was the worst president we ever had.
304 Talk 304. Water quality. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side of the break a little bit later on. The Board of Education, State Board, taking over another school system. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update. Check in with the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all over the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Through the work weekend, I'm still monitoring some daily likely chances of rain and storms. And with some up to above average moisture to tap into, there will be that risk of some localized flash flooding. Be mindful of generally 1 to 2 inches of rain total over the next 5 days, with that risk of locally higher amounts with any of these daily chances of thunderstorms. Most of us in the state are included in a marginal risk of excessive rain. That's for localized flash flooding that is possible today and tonight. Seasonably warm yesterday in terms of our temps. We had a low at 70, high of 88 in Charleston, average is 86. A slight chance of an isolated shower and storm this morning. A number of us, some low visibility with some patchy to widespread dense fog. And then partly sunny skies and a chance of showers and storms this afternoon, likely overnight. Fly saver forecast, it starts at home. Some areas of the southeast United States and the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida up to a heat wave underneath a strong ridge and well above average heat and humidity there. Tampa 97 approaching a record high tomorrow. Myrtle Beach near 92. Chance of a shower and storm from Panhandle to Panhandle. Highs in like the mid 80s up here with a chance of showers and storms this afternoon and tonight. For our eastern areas, the flood watch is gone, but be mindful of some up to localized flash flooding with any showers and storms for some of our western areas here. Highs, a lot of mid to upper 80s for a number of spots. Point Pleasant this time near 88, 87 in Parkersburg. Huntington have you near 90 today. Bluefield near 80, Lewisburg near 82, with that risk of showers and storms. We do have another front coming in from the northwest for the weekend, keeping our likely chances of rain alive. Chance Monday, maybe dry Tuesday, with a high near 87 degrees Tuesday next week.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
Talk 304, the text line. We'll get to those coming up just a bit. Jeff Jenkins with the latest from the state school board meeting. Another school system being taken over by the State Board of Education. We'll get into that a couple of minutes from now. The West Virginia Rivers Coalition has a new study out examining the impact of the rollbacks of the Clean Water Act on the Charleston drinking water supply. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 2023 that streams can only be protected under the Clean Water Act if they are relatively permanent. That excludes ephemeral streams that only flow after rain or snowmelt. Dr. Nathaniel Hitt, he goes by Than Hitt, is a senior scientist with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition, and he joins us on Metro News Talkline this morning. Than, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, sir. Good to be with you.
Appreciate it. I explained there that the Clean Water Act in the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that says that only streams that are relatively permanent come under the Clean Water Act. What kind of an impact does that have here in West Virginia?
Well, it has a huge impact. I mean, of course, here in the Mountain State, we are a headwater stream state. Headwaters. We are essentially the water towers for downstream water users, either that's on the eastern panhandle, Potomac Riverside, or the interior into the Ohio. It's the same thing. 2/3 of the people in West Virginia rely on surface waters for their drinking water supply, so it's extremely important we protect these headwater streams. Now, you mentioned the EPA's proposed rule to redefine what's considered what they call waters of the U.S., or WOTUS for short. And when you look at the scientific work on this, unfortunately, EPA is off the mark here. They're excluding the majority of water that's in these great rivers. It starts from the headwater streams. You mentioned a recent study. This was extremely important work out of University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and Yale. What they did was they looked at these big rivers, and they asked what proportion of the water there is attributable to these small ephemeral streams. Ephemeral streams are the ones that only flow when rainfall moves them. Okay, so ephemeral streams are extremely important, and it turns out that either you're looking at the Elk River, which of course supplies Charleston, or the Potomac River, which supplies Washington, D.C., or the Ohio, etc. Over half of that water actually starts in ephemeral streams. So if we ignore those, then we are at risk. We're at risk from dirtier water. We're at risk from floods. We got to do better than that.
Are we ignoring them? Can't the DEP step in? Isn't that what Sackett is really about? If the state wants to take extra precautions over ephemeral streams, it can do so, can it not?
The state would have the opportunity to go above and beyond what the EPA does if they choose to. They're not choosing to. And so essentially they're defaulting to what the federal standard would be. In this case, that would leave a lot of ephemeral streams at risk. And not only ephemeral streams, may I add, also wetlands. West Virginia Rivers Coalition and our partners, we did an analysis of this, what's at risk for wetlands. And unfortunately, over 80% of the West Virginia wetlands could be at risk as well. So, think of these as nature's water filters. These are nature's flood control devices. We all need more of that, not less.
Talking to Than Hitt, senior scientist with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition. Than, I'm thinking about this as a property owner who may have one of these ephemeral streams coming across my property, water that only runs when we get a deluge, which we tend to get more often than not now. But nonetheless, how would that potentially impact a property owner if those ephemeral streams coming across my property could be subject to the Clean Water Act?
Great question. Well, it's going to depend place by place, of course. But essentially what the Clean Water Act is doing is it's just regulating. It's basically, think of it as water stewardship for downstream users. It's not saying there can be no pollution. Obviously, everything we do has, potentially some pollution risk. But what the Clean Water Act does is it allows us to manage that risk in an intelligent way. So that's the opportunity for protecting your downstream communities. West Virginia's done a really good job. If you look at the Potomac, we've done a really good job of cleaning up nitrogen and phosphorus and sediment, and that benefits downstream Chesapeake Bay communities. So we deserve some credit for that work. I'll tell you, other states are lagging behind what West Virginia's been able to do, so we should be proud of our success there.
Than, help me understand this 69% number. Should I think of that as the amount of annual water that flows through the river? Should I think of that as some kind of modeled number on how much drainage is networked, or miles of streams? Help us understand what that 65% rather really means.
Right. You're referencing the science study that was published recently by Brinkerhoff and colleagues. The way that they did this was essentially a series of models, but the way they're estimating, you can think of that 69% number being essentially the quantity of water in the large river that was sourced from the small ephemeral streams. And they did that with a set of reasonable kind of models, groundwater models, surface water models, and they did this across the entire nation, which is powerful. But the punchline is that over half of that water in all major streams, and we think of it during summer, base flow conditions or relatively low flow conditions, over half of that water is sourced from ephemeral streams. So these small streams have huge impacts.
Talking to Than Witt, he's senior scientist with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition. Tham, do we have an accurate database or map of these ephemeral streams that we're talking about?
We do. For 20 years or so, I was with the U.S. Geological Survey as a research scientist here at the Eastern Ecological Science Center. That's before I started with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition. And I've got to say, my former colleagues with the USGS are excellent at this, and we do have high-quality maps. And, it goes back to the old 7.5-minute maps that you might be familiar with, where we have blue lines and dash lines. Of course, we're improving those with new technology. We're improving those with satellite imagery, et cetera. But we have pretty good information about this. The National Hydrological Data Set is available. You can find it online, and it's quite good.
Resources are finite. Monies are finite, as you well know. I'm wondering, based on this finding versus drinking water standards, infrastructure standards. I mean, obviously, we need more and improved infrastructure in this country. Would it be a better use of our time to focus on the streams, or a better use of our time to focus on the quality of the water that comes out of the tap, more infrastructure to ensure that it is clean and that it gets safely to residents? How do you juxtapose those two goals, I guess I should say?
Right. That's a great question, and they're not in conflict. Those issues are hand in hand. When we clean up our source waters, it costs less to treat water downstream. We see that in many ways. In fact, one of the number one reasons, you may have seen this study, unfortunately, recently, we learned that southern West Virginia counties were topping the nation's list for water quality impairments under the Safe Drinking Water Act. That's a shame. We have to do better than that. But one of the main reasons for this was that the treatment required for water municipal managers requires a heck of a lot of chlorine and other materials that produce chlorine disinfectant byproducts. Those byproducts are not great. They have human health consequences too, and they're expensive to do. So every dollar invested in source water protection is a dollar saved on treatment. So, think of it this way too. And you can think of it as the sort of the circulatory system for a body. It's the capillaries we're talking about now. It's the smallest vessels, and that's where all the action is. How could you expect your heart to be functioning if all of your capillaries are cut off? That wouldn't work. And the same thing for rivers. If we cut off all the ephemeral streams, then how can we expect our main stem rivers to be functioning? How can we expect safe water? We can't. So that's why we're really interested in source water protection. It saves dollars and saves public health.
Than Witt, senior scientist with the West Virginia Rivers Coalition. Interesting stuff, Than. We appreciate it this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Coming up, Jeff Jenkins from the newsroom, the State Board of Education, taking over another school system. We'll talk about that right after this.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably Mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Don't forget, you don't want to be left on the shore during summer, so check out the great inventory and the great deals on pontoon and fishing boats at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. You can see that entire inventory at LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. Text coming up, 304 Talk 304. Right now, let's bring in Jeff Jenkins from the Metro News newsroom. The state school board meeting this morning, and Jeff, another county school system being taken over by the State Board of Education.
Yeah, so officially you call this, guys, a partial intervention. So there's different things the school board can do. They can declare a state of emergency. They can partially intervene into a school system. They can take over the whole thing. But this is what they're calling a partial intervention. It's Harrison County, and it's basically because Harrison County, according to the report, their school board refuses to RIF people, refuses to cut jobs. And they are 239 jobs above the formula. 239 jobs above. Wow. When you talk about student enrollment, which has been hemorrhaging for the last several years in Harrison County and other counties, and they're 239 jobs above what the funding formula pays for. Now, 150 of those 239 are right now being covered by their excess levy. So 150 of the 239. But what they're doing, according to the report today in the school board meeting, is that they're spending way down their surplus. So, Harrison County is one of, they've been a solid county school system for years, and they've got a surplus. But because they won't cut jobs, according to the report given today, in the counting this coming year and the last year, they'll spend down their surplus by $16 million. And they'll leave a surplus of about $6 million at the end of this fiscal year. So some counties would love to have $6 million, but if you spin it down 16 before that, because you're over the formula. So the school board voted today, the state school board, to do a partial intervention, basically putting the State Department, the Superintendent Michelle Blatt, in control there when it comes to some personnel decisions. It seems like, guys, that this was more targeted not at the superintendent in Harrison County, not at the chief financial officer in Harrison County, from what we understand, who's been telling the school board these things have to be made, but it's more targeted at the school board itself, which came out during the discussion today that 4 of the 5 school board members in Harrison County are former educators. And according to State School Superintendent Paul Hardesty, he says it seems that they are reluctant to cut jobs of fellow educators because they're former educators. So we can hear a soundbite here from Paul Hardesty and his reaction after he's seen this report over the last couple of days and continued to review it.
This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic in the fact that a Board of Education would, for 2 years running, basically disregard the RIF and transfer process, knowing you're that many positions over formula, and basically erode your fund balance to the point that they've done so.
All right, so that's the move that they're making. Now, the Harrison County Board has voted in recent months to freeze spending, but state officials said today that that's not enough. They have put people on notice that next year, during the RIF period, get ready, we're going to cut some jobs next year. But again, those with the state board say that's not enough. That should have been happening beforehand. Here is Alexandra Kreiner. She heads up the Office of Accountability. This is from the investigation. They went on site from the investigation into Harrison County, into the school board. This is some of the conclusions of their report on what the school board is doing, according to this report.
County Board of Education members overreach into administration, including reported interference in staffing, scheduling, and discipline, advocacy for specific schools, programs, or individuals, undermining of the superintendent's authority, and bypassing the established chain of command.
All right. And that's what their investigation found. So that calls now, so the state board today votes in favor of a partial intervention. So if you're counting at home, all right, and also the school board today did 2 other things when it comes to other counties. They took Randolph County off of a state of emergency because last year they've shown improvement. They've done the financial cuts that they had to make, and they've done that. So they're off. They're back operating on their own. And Rome County has shown improvement, but they put them on for another 6 months to hopefully the improvement will continue. So a state of emergency right now, Rome County, partial intervention includes, so full or partial, includes Mingo, Logan, Upshur, Nicholas, Tyler, Hancock, Boone, and Harrison. Harrison on partial, the rest of those on full. Mingo, Logan, Upshur, Nicholas, Tyler, Hancock, Boone.
Was that 8?
I think I got that right. I think it's 9 total. 9. Yeah. So Brad McElhenney's writing a story. We listened to the school board meeting. He's writing a story coming up on this. But we talk about Harrison County, you think, well, that's one of the bigger counties. That's one of the counties that's operated, well over the years.
Good financial resources.
Got good schools in that county. But
bad stewards.
But they have declining enrollment. They just closed Liberty High School.
Yeah.
Those kids have now, I think most of them went to Robert C. Byrd, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff.
Yeah.
And there's still, I know the number was 239, but 150 of those are covered by the excess levy. So you're still 89 positions over the limit.
Right.
I mean, I got thoughts. I just don't have time to talk about them, though. So partial takeover story at the website coming up.
Coming up.
All right.
Yes, sir.
You guys are fast. I don't know how. Maybe not that quick. The meeting just ended a few minutes ago, I think. So,
yeah, it'll be up in a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jeff, for the update. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Take a break. Back to wrap it up. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Summer in West Virginia means open roads, blue skies, and endless possibilities. But if you don't have reliable wheels, getting to work or making it to a doctor's appointment can feel like an uphill climb. That's where Good News Mountaineer Garage comes in. We take donated vehicles, fix them up, and get them to fellow mountaineers who need them the most. This summer, let's keep our community moving. Donate a vehicle today by calling 866-GIVE-CAR or visit goodnewsmountaineergarage.org. Donate a car, change a life.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $434 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $604 million. So go ahead, play today. Let's get some text in before we clear the way for Dave Allen and Amanda Barron on many of these same Metro News radio stations. 304 Talk 304. Dave, these $1 million ideas, they're up in the air. They're like muffin tops, says the texter. Top of the muffin to you. Any discussion of the lawsuit filed by Marshall athletes? I have reached out to Stephen New. He is the attorney from Beckley representing those athletes. Stay tuned. 304 Talk 304. Sure, Dave. Pretend Biden and McConnell are the same. When Biden froze up, the DNC pulled him out of the seat and put Harris in. Mitch vapor locks for years now. The only reason they did it was because they couldn't avoid it anymore. Joe Biden was showing signs for 2 years, 3 years, and everybody acted like he was okay up until the point where you couldn't hide it anymore. So, yes, they're the same. We did that one. 304 Talk 304. This growing issue, State Board of Education has no reason staying in Upshur County. They took over fixed issues that old superintendent did to school, and old superintendent was never charged with anything she did to this county, says the texter. Let me see. 304 Talk, 304. Nope, said I wasn't going to read that one. Dave and TJ, totally uncaring about what any of your listeners think. Listening to laughter today was good for my soul. Thank you both for starting my day on a happy note. I thought that was going the other direction. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad we could start your day on a happy note. 304 Talk, 304. Somebody sends along a picture of their electric bill. You'll have to take a look at that one. Bosley Construction needs to get a lot of the credit. They had machines in there trying to make a firewall. Johnny and J.C. Bosley were in the thick of it at the fire in Wood County. All right, well, duly noted.
Way to go, fellas. Appreciate you.
This one just says, ghetto dog, I keep it ghetto. All right, good for you.
I think I know that texter is a frequent texter. I don't know them, but I struggle sometimes to understand what they're trying to tell me, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm just not hip enough.
At this point, I kind of look, some of them get on the air. We read them all. Some of them we can put on the air, some we can't. I do look forward to, I hate to say this now because I'll keep texting. I look forward to them at this point to see what they're going to say any given day.
Well, we live in a world where the Board of Education sees that they're going bankruptcy or going toward bankruptcy and does nothing about it. So go figure.
Follow the news of the day over at the website, WVMetroNews.com. For Ethan, Jake, and TJ, Dave Wilson saying, have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 10:06. Congressman Riley Moore will join us. Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.